WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning from the traffic center. We're beginning to see some activity in those school zones. Be careful there. Watch for some unusual traffic patterns for the first few days till everything kind of settles into a routine. One accident working Meridian and Winchester should be clear pretty quick. Snelling has an opening for an admin assistant. Northeast Huntsville location needs strong general accounting skills. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. An isolated shower is going to be possible, but the best chance for that is going to be across northeast Alabama. At the end of the day, many of us probably going to stay dry. Temperatures dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny skies for your Thursday. Again, an isolated shower is going to be possible, with most of us staying dry. Temperatures remain a bit below average. Highs again hanging out in the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
The UFC heavyweight title on the line Saturday in Houston at UFC 265. Derek Lewis in his hometown will look to upset Cyril Gane, carrying a perfect 9-0 record into the bout. Gane the minus 350 favorite, Lewis plus 265. Our first glimpse of the 2021 NFL season is tomorrow night with the return of the annual Hall of Fame game. The Dallas Cowboys will face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh a 1.5-point favorite, the over-under 33. Braves and Cardinals tonight. Atlanta slight favorites on the road, minus 115 on the money line. St. Louis at minus 105, the over-under 9. Drew Smiley getting the start for Atlanta against J.A. Happ for the Cardinals.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, we're off and running. Another brand new live edition of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond with you until 9 a.m. 256-576-4977. That's how we begin the program, opening the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to you. We have got a lot of stuff to get to on a Wednesday morning. The Big 12, Pac-12, they met yesterday. We'll discuss what they talked about. ESPN has released their preseason power rankings, a top 25 poll. Where does Alabama come in? How many SEC teams are in this thing? Tennessee Vols and Josh Heupel, they hit the practice field today. Yesterday, they met the media. We'll hear from them. Lane Kiffin hopped on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday. Of course, he talked Nick Saban and Bryce Young. Of course he did. Plus, there's some Olympic scores and action to get to. But I'm going to throw this out there because it's the NFL preseason camps. The poor Indianapolis Colts are going through injury after injury. Man. But yesterday, in the New York Times, or the Los Angeles Times, Phillip Rivers was interviewed by the Los Angeles Times yesterday.
This is very interesting.
And says, I've not ruled out a return to the football field. He says, I'm getting back there. I wouldn't have made weight if I had to report last week, that's for sure, he says, but I'm getting back into the lifting and running. And shoot, I occasionally throw a ball around here. He goes on to say, I'm just going to stay ready. I want to make sure I'm very clear. I'm not predicting I'll play in December or January for that matter. One, you have to have somebody who wants you, and two, it's got to be right. But I have not completely ruled that out. Phillip Rivers is currently the head coach at St. Michael Catholic High School here in the state of Alabama.
In his first year.
I bring that up because the Colts are going to be without Carson Wentz for
5 to 12 weeks.
5 to 12 weeks. Now, Frank Reich did say yesterday that, okay, if he got the pain, he could be through week 1, week 2, maybe, you don't know. But realistically, does Phillip Rivers come out of retirement to play football yet again?
Probably not. But, I mean, you never know with some of these organizations if a catastrophic injury happens. Like, I know people are going to run off the road, but what if Tom Brady got hurt?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could go get another Hall of Fame quarterback to come in with a bunch of veterans around you and try to win, like a la Roger Clemens and Misremembering. What he used to do in baseball, Scott, he used to sign in June. You know what I'm saying?
That was true.
For stretch runs of season. So, I mean, Phillip is the ultimate competitor.
Didn't he do that with the Yankees the last time he was in there, Clemens? Didn't he come in like really, really late?
A couple of times he did that in June because they made a big deal about him.
I think it was Houston too or something.
Well, he did it with Houston.
Yeah.
He did it, and so but again, so it can happen. There's no question. He's very competitive. And remember, except for the ACL injury that he played through in that playoff run for the Chargers, he really was incredibly durable. I mean, he, Tom Brady, and Brett Favre, when you start thinking of guys that went to the podium every day, and then for most of his career, Dan Marino until the end, he started having lower leg problems. But, he's been amazingly durable. His arm has been fine. I'm sure he's still got the competitive juices flowing, considering that, I thought he played pretty well last year.
Right.
They were a playoff team. So now they've got Wentz. Wentz is fragile. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody being fragile, I mean, good heavens. But the bad thing is they're not only missing Wentz, they're missing probably the best guard in football.
Same injury, I believe, as Carson Wentz has as well. So
Notre Dame's Quentin Nelson.
Yeah, so something to keep an eye on there. I don't know, just throwing that out there. I thought it was interesting. He told the LA Times did Phillip Rivers, that he's not completely ruled out coming back to play football. But we'll see. He's got a high school football season that's getting ready to start in like 13 days. In his first year as head football coach. Wouldn't that be something?
Coach will be back in the spring, but he's got to take off for the NFL about week 4. See ya.
Where's Coach Rivers at?
Yeah.
Oh, he's with the Colts.
Well, hey, you know what you could do? He had an interim coach there last year before he officially took over. There's probably going to be another pretty good one in the stands that could come down and take over for him for the rest of the season.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
A Hall of Fame coach.
Steve Rivers.
256-576-4977. Do you think you'd see Phillip Rivers play? If you did see Phillip Rivers play again this year in the NFL, what would be the expectations surrounding one Phillip Rivers, former Athens High standout? Let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jeff from the Borough with us this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
On UFK, we are right for the fight today.
Now, this is great.
That line. Every Wildcat star will shine. We'll fight for the blue and white. And we'll roll to that gold varsity. We've got the best hurlers in the world till the battle is won, and bring home the victory.
Hey, that was pretty good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Applaud you on that one.
Hey,
that
we've never sung fight songs on this show, so that was pretty good.
Miss McLaughlin last night, a one-and-doner in track, just like AD and Kid Gilchrist. She dominated so much that she went pro, and last night sets the world record gold medalist 400-meter hurdles, 51.46. The silver medalist said it too, but it wasn't good enough. Muhammad, she got silver. So we got two golds in the hurdles. Her and Jasmine Camacho Quinn run for Puerto Rico 100-meter hurdles. So that's 4 golds and a silver for Kentucky at the Olympics. We got a chance to get 2 more if the USA basketball team can win gold. That'd be 6 golds and a silver. Pretty good for a junior college, isn't it, guys?
That's a great accomplishment.
I didn't know. I thought Kentucky was a 4-year school.
I thought they were too, but it's a 1-year school.
Oh, now you're 1 year. Wow.
Yeah, McLaughlin, AD, and Kid Givers, they're all one and done. They dominated so much. We just go 1 year pro, and she's the youngest Olympian ever to win a medal. I think win gold or win a medal. So she just dominates so much. Of course, she's from New Jersey, so all her family last night. Her high school track coach and principal watched last night. I had a watch party might have been past y'all's bedtime. But did y'all see yesterday the president of Texas, or whenever it was, met with the state senators of Texas? Did y'all see that?
Oh yeah.
Yes, we did.
We laughed about it.
Yeah, pretty hilarious, wasn't it? What that woman told him, pretty hilarious, wasn't it?
Yes, that 3-7 against TCU, and I guess your fans would rather lose to Alabama every year, is what she said.
What she said, you'd rather get your teeth kicked in by Alabama than you would TCU. That's what you told him. That you rather get what you rather do. And what the other one said you didn't make the Big 12 conference better. You just voted for the SEC. And see, what I think they ought to do is live up to the letter of the contract and not join to 2025. If they wanted to join in 2022, they should have stated that.
If they want to pay $80 million and get out of it, who's stopping them? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if they want to pay the $80 million and they want to get out of it, so be it. Let them pay the $80 million.
But but the contract says 2025, not a minute before then.
Well, I'm telling you what, there's a lot of contracts these days that they're not worth the dime that they're wrote on.
I know they'll be broke. But I did want to ask you too, Drew. Drew, what happened to Mr. Smith? He had a broke finger. I guess he missed the preseason. No, ain't too bad that knee. And I saw where Julio Jones has a minor leg injury. His Waffle House, y'all's favorite place to eat now. He says he's always open. He put Waffle House on his shoes. But the big thing about it is, though, he might drop the ball like Derrick Henry, fumbling. So, but y'all hang in there and have a good week. See y'all.
Does Derrick Henry fumble?
Not much.
I was just wondering. I mean, that call, Jeff was so great. I mean, he came on and, that
was a pretty good song right there. I thought he sang pretty well.
And then he just went down a one-way street that he couldn't come back from. I mean,
he called his own school a junior college.
Well, I guess everybody wants to be like John Calipari up there and do one-and-dones.
Well, John needs to win games. He didn't win a whole lot last year.
No, he didn't.
But I think they're going to be a lot better.
Well, they can't be a lot worse.
Well,
by Kentucky standards, I'm
right,
saying. They can't be a lot worse this next year.
No, they can't blame COVID this year.
No, you cannot. 256-576-4977. Jeff did bring up Sydney McLaughlin. Yes, she did win the gold in the 400-meter hurdle, set the new world record, 51:46. Other Olympic stuff going on. Team USA in baseball, we sat here, watched them lose to Japan, but they came back last night or whenever while we were all resting and did beat the Dominican Republic 3-1. Scott Kazmir threw 5 scoreless innings for the win, so that means Team USA will now take on the loser of Japan and South Korea Wednesday night. If they win that game, whoever wins that game between Japan and South Korea moves into the gold medal game. Mm-hmm. If Team USA is able to beat whoever they play, they will move into the gold medal game. If they don't, they will face the bronze medal game between they'll go back and play the bronze medal game between the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is in the bronze medal game because they lost to Team USA.
Well, they just got to
So there's
win.
your baseball update.
I mean, we talked about David Robertson, Alabama native, University of Alabama pitcher and longtime closer in the major leagues and middle reliever. He's part of that pitching staff, and a lot of guys that are trying to hang on and get back to the big leagues. Edwin Jackson, people of that nature are on this ball club. They, as you said, Scott, they had a 6-4 lead on Japan, and we watched it over a 2-hour period. They ended up blowing that lead and losing 7-6 in extra innings. I believe it was 10 innings in that situation, or 10 or 11 innings. But certainly Mike Scioscia and the boys bounced back at that win over the Dominican Republic 3-1, and as you said, await the loser of Japan and South Korea.
Let's go on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Dumpman with us on a Wednesday morning. I am behind on my days. It's Wednesday. Good morning.
Hey, guys. So what's up with, Japan beating us in all the sports that we, gave them?
I mean, it is annoying.
I mean, we did drop 2 atom bombs on them, and if we gave them all those sports. If it wasn't for us, they would still be doing samurai sword fighting and probably sumo wrestling, and that's all they'd have. But we gave them those sports. And speaking of atomic bombs, man, there is an atomic bomb dropped for every gender out there. So, and then that last guy that called, I've heard him call before. Who is that?
Jeff from the borough, from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
about to say, man, Hawk the Luke, man. Come on, man. I'm like, what? It's like, man, that dude talking, man.
Well, he calls us every day, and I'll give him credit, even when we've shellacked him and bashed him, and because he comes on being all honoring and cantankerous, and he wasn't bad today. I mean, he came on bragging about Kentucky, and that was great, to see them add a gold medal to the case there. But
he just has a tendency to do the old poor Kentucky thing a little too bit,
which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna go take a dump.
Thanks,
Dump Man.
It.
Oh, Al Copeland says, tell Wolfman Jack Jeff that when his football team starts competing, he can brag. Until then, he can just continue giving us useless facts.
Well, his football team does go to bowl games. Let's understand that, and they win bowl games. Now, they're not winning the SEC, and I made a statement that they never would. Of course, that really got under his skin, and we'll see. I don't see it happening, especially now that the league has gotten even better. With Texas and OU, but Kentucky's competing, and you have to like it. And of course, we have a great friend on that staff, in John Summerall, who is one of the best young coaches in college football and co-defensive coordinator, inside linebackers coach for the Big Blue.
Yearly, though, teams like Kentucky, what would be the ceiling for Kentucky yearly is what, 8 wins?
I don't know.
I mean, if they hit 9 or
10,
10, yeah, but they're not the consistent team to hit 10 wins, though.
No, but I think they can. I think they can consistently get to 8 or 9. Now, we heard Mark Stoops in Hoover. He's not in favor of this expanded SEC schedule, but he's just going to have to get ready for it.
Right. If they had to play 9 games every year,
because
if they go to that,
they were affected heavily by COVID, but never threw in the towel.
Right.
But they struggled with that 10-game SEC regular season.
Because they would play, if it's a 9-season schedule, Kentucky would most likely, and just same with every other SEC school, you're going to play 9 conference games, 3 non-conference games, not 8 and 4. So that chance there to pick up I don't want to say a guaranteed win, but a chance to get a win goes away. So that would change. I would think that would change everything with the Kentuckys right now, the Ole Misses, the Mississippi States of the world, because going to a 9-game schedule would make it a lot tougher on those teams to get 8-9 wins during the year.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, it's 7:17 here on a Wednesday morning. Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline is open for you. Coming up in a little bit, Nicholas Wells will join the show as we talk high school football. Nicholas, the head coach of the Columbia Eagles, former Alabama A&M standout. He'll join the show here in just a little bit. Former Johnson standout, if you want to go back
his father, Harold
even
Wells.
further. Yeah. So he'll join us to talk a little high school football coming up in a little bit. Now, yesterday, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks hit the field for the very first time this season. Head coach John Gross after his first practice.
Thought we could have scrimmaged today. There's a lot of retention from the spring, and just all the guys back. And so I thought it was smooth. A lot of things we got to improve on. A lot of first day mistakes that we got to get corrected. But I thought overall a really good first day, and just got to improve on that every day as we go and build and camp.
He kind of makes a point there. They could have scrimmaged because of the stuff they were in during the spring. Jacksonville State just got done playing their season about 2 months ago.
Yeah, we got to remember that. It's a huge turnaround. Coach Gross, he's been through a lot. He's a longtime high school coach in this state, very successful, and he's seen a lot of things in his days. But this has got to be unusual because you really didn't have a spring football practice. You played, and you had a good team, you had a good year. But now it's on to the next year 2 months later, which is just kind of crazy. But the Gamecocks should be pretty good. I'm going to be surprised if they're not. Coach Gross and his staff do a good job there. We couldn't make we had some commitments. We couldn't make the media day. And but we were looking forward to UNA. We're looking forward to Jacksonville State. Bill Clark and UAB took the field yesterday. New facility there. Got to be a lot of excitement for UAB. And that game with UAB and Jacksonville State, to me, is intriguing. UAB certainly will be favored in that game.
Yes.
But played on a neutral field at the Crampton Bowl. Very interesting.
All right, let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Richard's with us on a Wednesday. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, guys. We were just talking about, Japan and baseball, but I would assume anybody with players in the major leagues, is not putting their best team on the field, be it the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, U.S., even Canada. I don't know if Japan is playing with all their major leaguers or not.
I don't know. I know the Dominican Republic are playing with a lot of guys that are borderline, kind of like Team USA. They're some minor leaguers. When we watched the Japan game the other day, there were a lot of older guys that were playing for Japan. So I'm wondering if they do have a few of their guys playing.
Yeah, their season runs, about the same as ours. So I don't, that's what I was wondering is if they're doing, the same thing, we are with the older or I guess, younger guys that, hadn't made a major league team. But, if it's kind of an even playing field. But if you don't put a stop on the season, I think hockey's done that in the past, during the Winter Olympics to where the better players can play. But like I said, if you're kind of doing it's kind of luck of the draw with who you're going to get out there. It's not really the best players.
Yeah, and, Richard, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I'm glad that it's an Olympic sport again, and I know they have pros in basketball, but I wish in a way they would take the best amateur players. And what I mean by that is collegiate guys, maybe the Kumar Rockers of the world, the Jack Lighters. Take the guys that are draft eligible perhaps, or maybe have another year of college and do that. I don't know that, because to me, if you're not just going to stop the season and send your best guys, and then I think that it would be better to send the amateurs, but that's just my opinion.
Almost like an under-19, these basketball, like what Bediako played in, an under-19 thing for everybody, almost like that for every, because you got to think like if you had, the Southeastern Conference freshmen and sophomores playing out there, that would be a great team. As good as the SEC is in baseball, as long as everybody else was playing with people the same age.
Yeah. Well, it does say that all of the Japanese baseball players belong to professional teams in Japan. Now, it doesn't say if they are like their minor leagues in Japan, but it does say they all belong to professional teams. Some of them, a lot of them have a lot of experience in their top level or their major league teams.
Tell you one thing about Japan. I was there on vacation in December, say 3 or 4 years ago. We're on a train, and they're playing baseball 2 games at once on one field with no fence. I mean, that's how serious they take it. And this is December. This is all ages, anything from 5 years old to, they were, probably college-age guys. But, and I guess they don't, hit the ball as far as we do. But, they would have like 2 diamonds, facing each other, and they were sharing the same outfield.
Wow. I've never even heard of that. Crazy.
Well, they don't have the land, like we do.
Right.
Right.
Because I saw a lot of top golf type places, but never saw a golf course, when I was there.
That's interesting.
But there were tons of places to go to the driving range, but we rode trains around 3 or 4 different cities. But I saw them playing baseball because we were on a train on a Sunday morning.
Well,
but like I said, it was kind of wild. You had kind of 2 center fielders out, basically in the same outfield.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I mean, that's wow.
And it was cool. It wasn't terrible, but it was probably in the 50s. So it wasn't 75 degrees either, and it wasn't 30 degrees either. But it wasn't it wasn't overly warm. But in the U.S. you have a lot of travel leagues playing December, January even. But like I said, those guys take it serious over there.
They really do, Richard. Have you called Nate Oates yet to fill out the last 4 games?
No, but I heard him speak at the tip-off club last Monday, but he didn't take many questions, but just kind of, went over last year and, kind of the draft, kind of options, because it was before the draft last week, but, no great words of wisdom out there. But I would assume you'll see like Jacksonville State or Stanford for the next 3 or 4. And one thing is it looks like there's one spot, there's 4 home games or 4 games that, to play, and they haven't announced the Huntsville game. So I'm assuming maybe one of those 4 is going to be played in Huntsville. I don't know.
I was told over the weekend, and I was talking with Mark Russell from the Huntsville Sports Commission, And I don't know if I should be – I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There won't be a Huntsville game this year.
That's what I was told by someone connected to Night Edie.
They're wanting to rebrand the event.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to bring in 4 teams, kind of make it maybe a tournament type of thing or whatever, and make it a couple days. But there won't be a Huntsville Classic this year. They're going to rebrand it somehow, some way. They want to bring basketball back, but that won't be this year.
But as you know, Richard, they are playing in Birmingham against Colorado State.
Yes.
Yeah, I just figured because it looked like there was one more game there, so I thought they might, hold one out. Because actually, I know one of the, Chris there from the group, so I knew they hadn't announced anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, all right, Richard.
Okay.
Got to get to a break.
Later.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to get to a break. We'll talk more about all of that stuff coming up after this, but we got to get to Nicholas Wells, head coach of the Columbia Eagles. Got to kick off our high school city preview. Some more high school football on the horizon.
Yeah, the Columbia Eagles rebuilding under Nicholas Wells, the son of Harold Wells. And Harold Wells has 2 prominent former players as head coaches in the city. We talked to one yesterday, Irving McGuire of the Lee Generals. And Nicholas Wells will join us next to talk some Columbia Eagles football.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck on 431 near Taylor Lane. Single vehicle reported there. That one may actually be off the road. Meridian and Winchester should be just about wrapped up. Watch out in those school zones and look out for the buses. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Listen to the Tom Abraham Show.
And he loves fishing.
My wife said, I will take the dog guy all day. She said, at least he's positive and makes me laugh. She said, this makes me just want to roll out of the car on I-4. And I said, well, I'll have to tell Tom that you were big on him, that you were requesting.
You tell Mrs. Brandon that's good. We'll put her on the list of females that like the show.
Listen to the Big Dog. Weekdays from 10 to noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Sitting here with Ann Adams of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Rise Real Estate. Is it a good time to sell your home, Ann?
Yes, it is. We have people relocating from all over the country.
Why should we choose Rise Real Estate?
Well, we've been selling real estate in North Alabama for 36 years and have sold more real estate than any other real estate company, period.
Do you help your customers through the entire process?
Yes, our agents are with you during the whole process from start to finish, from beginning to end.
In your relocation services, you have a whole team.
Yes, we have a dedicated relocation department helping customers move seamlessly into the area.
Ann Adams has been writing contracts for the last 36 years. She has the experience to help you list and sell your home, downsize your home, or help pick the perfect spot north of Alabama for you to build a future.
Call Ann Adams at 256-337-2625 or on the web at www.bhsriserealestate.com.
Tom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida. From first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, VHA, and USDA loans, they have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet and Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet and Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant Bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right, even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Coming up next, it's the Tom Abraham Show with me, Tom Abraham. Now back to more Talkin Ball with Scott and Drew.
Hi, welcome back to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. We have had the privilege of knowing our next guest. I did on the TV side, going all the way back to his days at Johnson High School.
Well, yeah, I mean, he grew up here.
Then Alabama A&M. Then indoor football.
Yeah.
He had a splash in the indoor football here as a wide receiver. Pretty good on the indoor game, I must say. And then all of a sudden, now he's coaching.
Yep.
Now I feel old.
I mean, it is kind of interesting because I watched him play. I watched Irving McGuire play. We had Coach McGuire on yesterday, and he's going to put his stamp on Lee High School football. Our next guest took over in the middle of the season a couple years ago, and then with last year was his first full season. This will be his second full year as the head man of the Columbia Eagles, rebuilding that program, who, of course, we know has an NFL player, Trey Flowers, and has had some success, but it's right now a slow build, but he has taken on the challenge, and then he, of course, was also for several years at McNair Middle School, which is the feeder for Mae Jemison High School, and that's Nick Wells, and Coach Wells is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline and has taken some time this morning to talk some high school football. Coach, welcome back to the show. It was great to meet you the other day. How are you doing? You're with Drew and Scott.
Morning, Coach.
Morning. How you doing? Appreciate you guys having me on, man. This is going to be an excellent experience, man. It's really my first time being on the phone on the talk radio.
Well, you could have come in studio if you wanted to.
Well, Coach, that's crazy. So you didn't do any radio like interviews during your like high school or college career? Because I mean, you played for a while, even professionally.
He did.
To be honest with you, no, I really didn't. I mean, if you told me personality, I'm kind of a laid-back guy. I'll kind of keep to myself. Yeah, I probably kind of shied away from it. Now that I think about it.
No, I had you on. I had you on TV. I had you on TV plenty of times.
Yeah, but that's great, Coach. We're glad you took the time to join us. And for our listeners, I mean, we all know that Columbia is a program you're trying to rebuild. What went into you deciding to make the jump? You were at McNair doing a good job helping feed that Mae Jemison program. What was the decision? What went through the process of deciding to take on the challenge of going to Columbia and trying to rebuild the 6A program?
Well, yeah, I believe any coach that is in the game of coaching, if they want to be good at it, they always want to be a head coach one day. So, in reality, that was my thought behind it. I knew I always wanted to be a head coach on the high school level. I've been around the game years with my dad, then over McNair Junior High School, as you mentioned. But, I felt like I needed a change of scenery. I had been over on the north side of Huntsville all of my life at Johnson, at Mae Jemison, Davis Hills, and then even at A&M. So I just needed a change of scenery, and I felt like I could do good things over here at Columbia High School with the talent pool and, the widespread of kids over here in this area. So, that was my focus in moving over to Columbia High School.
You did mention your dad. You mentioned you grew up around the game. Your dad, longtime head coach, Harold Wells, over at Johnson High School, now Mae Jemison High School. Obviously, you probably use a lot of his influence in what you do, but how have you been able to kind of separate yourself, create your own identity separate from what your dad has done?
Well, we have a lot of the same values. We try to preach to the kids to be the best you could possibly be at all times. Try to keep Christ first in your life, things of that nature. But my philosophy, from my own standpoint, is just, even though he loves them too, but I try to preach to my kids, loving them to the best of my ability. Just be able to be an example in everything I do, on and off the field. I try to invite my guys into my own life, and just help them to understand what it's all about, being a Christian man. And then in the same note, my beliefs again are similar, but not the same as my dad, in the sense of my approach to the game. He's a firm guy. I'm a firm guy too, but at the same time, I'm kind of reserved, laid back, in a sense. So, I try to let, my coaches be their coach, be the best coach they could possibly be, and I let them go out and do their thing, and then we come to the meeting session and I coach them up, But it's similar, but not all the way the same as my dad.
Well, and Coach, I know this is certainly a program you knew that what you were taking on. And last year, I know you're trying to kind of lay the foundation. Talk about trying to get the numbers up and get the enthusiasm back for Columbia, because we've seen them have some success. We've seen Trey Flowers become a great player, going to Arkansas, the NFL, one of the highest paid guys now, with the Detroit Lions. And then we've seen others reach the collegiate level from that program. How have you gone about trying to get the numbers back up and and build some enthusiasm for Columbia?
Well, first of all, we're trying to get the youth involved. We're trying to get the Youth Tackle Football League back going over here in this area at Continental. We're in the process of trying to reach out to different coaches to get involved in that. We've actually started with the Jaguars. I've actually went over and even talked to the coaches, Officer Calvert and Mike Davis over at the Jaguar Youth League to see exactly what they're doing, so we can move forward over here in the Columbia area and build the youth football leagues over here, and just get them involved. Let them guys see my face on a regular basis. Let them understand, we care about them. We want them to be a part of our program. And then again, on the same note, at the middle school level, we always try to invite Morris and Wick over to be with us during the summer and get acclimated to what we do as far as team-wise. And then with me being in the building this year, being a driver's ed teacher, that's going to be a big boost, I believe, to get the kids out involved and get the school invited, to get the school involved and pointing in the right direction.
Obviously you guys have started fall camp. What do the numbers look like right now?
Well, we're still low on numbers. Probably we're at about 15 right now. We're looking at about 15 players, the max that we've had. But school starts today, and just being around the football, around the game for a long time, I know that usually when school starts, you're probably going to gain maybe 8 to 10 guys. So, hopefully we'll get quite a few players out today.
Yeah, we would. That would be a great thing to see some guys come out to try to play. Give it a go for the Eagles, because again, there's nothing like high school football. We love it here. There's nothing like strapping it up on a Friday night or a Thursday night and representing your school and your community, Coach. And then I guess for the listeners, I know you brought a young man, one of your offensive and defensive linemen with you. guy to Media Day. Talk about some of the kids that you've got in the program, though, that you're excited about.
Well, we're excited about Ezekiel Bell. We're excited about Bastion Taylor. And also we're excited about another kid, but he was out of town. It's Devin Lee. He's a senior. And I believe he's going to be our go-to guy this coming season. You know, he's from out of town. He kind of transferred in at the end of the year last year. Mm-hmm. He's a fast kid, you know, really understands football. You know, seems like he's played at a high level at the school that he played last year. So he's going to be a great help for us at running back and linebacker. And then, like I said before, Sebastian, he's developing. He's gotten a whole lot stronger in the weight room. So I believe he's going to be a key for us also at linebacker and running back. And then Ezekiel Bell, he's going to lead us on the offensive line. And Sebastian and Ezekiel have been with me since middle school. So, you know, they know the scheme. They understand, you know, what the expectations are. You know, they understand, you know, how we have to go about business on a day-to-day basis. So they're leading the way for us, and they're my most consistent guys. I see them every day this year trying to work, trying to get better, trying to be the best that they can be. So they're going to be our core guys moving forward into this year.
What kind of style, then, do you have to play on the field? Obviously, I know we see a lot of the hurry-up, you know, all-gas type of offense. Do you have to slow it down a little bit because of the numbers?
Right, always. You always do. You got to play. You got to scheme with what you got, you know, and with the numbers that we have. You know, we're a triple option, you know, type of team. We're a downhill running team. We have big offensive linemen. We're probably average, you know, this year anywhere from 300 to 280 on the offensive line. You know, so, you know, we're going to try to pound the ground with our tough running back, and we're going to try to push people around with our offensive line. And then on the defensive ball, you know, it's going to be good tacklers. We're going to take great angles to the football, and we're going to do our responsibility and line up right. So I got a new defensive coordinator that's supposed to be helping us. That's going to help us this year. I believe he's going to do a good job. He's been around the game for a while. His name is Joshua Joe Allen. So, you know, I think he's going to do a great job for us, and hopefully we'll have a great year this year.
And then, Coach, talk about the rest of your staff. That's going to be very important in helping build this program and get kids out, get in the hallways. And Irvin McGuire was talking about that yesterday. He was a little worried when he first got there because of COVID, but he was able to get in the hallways, and he had some of his other players already in the program kind of recruit some kids and get them out there.
Well, yeah, that's always a big factor in having success of your program, having your coaches in the building. And like I mentioned, Coach Joe Allen or Coach Luke, he's going to be in the building teaching science. We're trying to get a couple of other of our young coaches in the building, possibly helping in different areas, maybe selling or SIS, things of that nature. But, you know, we have some coaches in the building that's going to be promoting football and trying to get the kids out. And that's going to be big for this year.
And then, Coach, talk about this schedule you've got coming up and competing in 6A Region 8. I know the key is you want to get better every week, but talk about your expectations with this schedule coming up.
Well, my expectation is every week, you know, we got to go with a strategic game plan. A strategic game plan that's going to help us capitalize. I mean, the first game, you know, you just mentioned Coach McGuire. We have Lee. We understand they're going to be a well-coached team, even though this is his first year. I know that he's a great coach, and he's going to coach his kids up well. So, you know, we have to go into, you know, each and every game with a strategic plan to be able to capitalize where they're weak, you know, and take what they give us defensively, offensively, and special teams. So, you know, right now we're just trying to scheme towards their weaknesses, and I believe, you know, it's going to be our best bet, you know, just to try to hit them with the quick game, run the veer, you know, misdirection, and try to move the ball successfully offensively down the field and get points where and then just get a couple of stops on defense, especially to give our guys some a rest at some point because we're going to be short numbers. But if we can get a couple of stops, we can move the ball consistently, get points when we should get points. I think we'll be okay, and that's going to be in every game. That's going to be every game moving forward in the season. So that's where we are as far as our game planning this year. Even though it's a tough region, playing Lee, then we got New Hope, then we have Athens. I believe we got Hartsel. Then we have, we got Muscle Shoals, Hartsel, Tanner. After that, I think it's Decatur, Coleman, and then Hazelton. So it's going to be a tough schedule. But if we can stay healthy, and week in and week out, we can put the kids in the best situation to be successful. We'll be okay.
No question about it. And the last question for me, because I checked the schedule. Someone asked me. They're not on it this year, but is there any possible way we could see a Wells Bowl, or are you guys going to try to kind of avoid the head-to-head meeting in a regular season game?
Yeah. Probably not this year, but maybe next year, because all summer long, to be honest with you, we've been doing OTAs and we've been doing a little 7-on-7 with Jimmy. So,
yeah, gotcha.
That could be possibly something, that we try to schedule probably next year, just to, have us play against each other, have the fans come out, see the old man and the young man go at it on the football field.
No doubt. Well, we hope to catch up with your dad this week as well. It was great having you on to talk some Columbia Eagles football. Good luck this season, Coach, and thank you for taking the time as school is starting, and, of course, you got camp underway. But thanks for joining us this morning and talking some high school football.
Appreciate y'all, and thank y'all for having me.
All right, thanks. Nicholas Wells, head coach of the Columbia Eagles. Drew, he's got a long road ahead of him.
Yeah, but he's taking it on, though,
ahead of him.
And I admire him for doing it.
Yes, it is, and there's a long losing streak there. Hopefully this year it's a tough region. He is not kidding when he says that region is awfully tough, and when you're really facing an uphill battle with 15
kids. You're playing
kids,
6A football.
Yes.
Well, it's a numbers game. They need some numbers. I hope some kids come on out there and try to help his program. They've got some athletes at Columbia High School. We've seen them, turn kids into collegiate players and even an NFL player. Which says a lot. So hopefully Coach Wells can continue to work with the youth leagues and get the numbers up and get them competitive. But again, it's a tough sledding in that region since 6A Region 8.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to wrap up hour number 1, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a wreck reported 431 in Taylor Lane. That one came in as a single vehicle, no injury. And we had one at Meridian and Winchester that should be just about ready to clear, maybe out of the way already. Watch those school zones and keep an eye out for those buses out on the routes. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with the 2030 Fast Track program, just in time for the beach. 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Ann Adams. Ann, I understand you have some exciting news.
Yes, Wes, I do. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services was just recognized in the 30th Annual Harris Poll Equitrin as the Real Estate Agency Brand of the Year and the most trusted real estate brand.
That is awesome news, Ann. Great companies in Huntsville, Alabama, winning awards is what we want. Is it a great time to list your home?
Yes, it is. The inventory is low and the market is heating up.
And I understand you're also looking for agents.
I am. We are so busy, Wes, we need agents to keep up with the demand.
Ann Adams and Rise Real Estate has been doing business in North Alabama for the last 35 years. If you want to do business with someone you can trust, she has been writing contracts since she was 9 years old. Call Ann today at 256-337-2625.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food, from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-three meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. And you can enjoy $50 worth of delicious Bubby's Diner food for half price with this week's Zone Deal. On sale now online at 977ESPN.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Brooks & Collier has always been about making the most of your outdoors. Our lush greenhouse and new furniture ideas will inspire you, but we're also about value. Our brands are so handsome, they'll make themselves comfortable inside or out, and so well made, they'll weather the weather for many years to come. Our staff can consult you on the right choices, and Lucy for sure can show us the sofa that's the most comfortable. Make the most of your outdoors. Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Here on a Monday morning, Wednesday. I have messed up the days of the week. We are at Wednesday. We're not Monday, we're not Tuesday, it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday morning, everyone. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Yesterday, Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers kicked off practice. A lot of question marks surrounding the quarterback position for the Tennessee Vols. Here's Coach Heupel updating everybody on where they stand.
I anticipate us having a starter during the course of week one for sure. That doesn't mean the other guys won't have opportunities to share roles. I think it's the challenge for every player to earn the trust of the coaching staff and show that they're going to compete at a consistent and championship level. Once kids do that, I think it's important that you as a coaching staff put them in a position to have an opportunity to have a role and play a part of what you're doing. Quarterbacks, just like every other position, those competitive battles that they're in, you dwindle the reps down and make decisions when guys have shown that they've earned the opportunity to become a 1 or become a 2 or become a 3, based on how they perform. And so as we go through training camp, the players will dictate how that unfolds.
So where does Tennessee stand as far as a starter goes? Who is going to get that ball week 1?
Well, I got to believe it's between a couple of guys. I know Hayden Hooker from Virginia Tech has been getting some buzz, but I thought Harrison Bailey was impressive in the spring, and he was a 4-star level kid coming in. But then you got Joe Milton, so to me it's one of those 3. But I still think it would be between Joe Milton and Harrison Bailey, and I think I don't know that he was satisfied with. I guess, the performance in the spring, and I guess that's why Joe Milton was brought in. And I think he likes Joe Milton's ability as a dual threat.
Right.
So I would watch Milton very closely, but he's got to be more consistent. Now, our great friend Wolverine Dan gave him the Heisman Trophy after beating Minnesota last year, but he went downhill after that. So we're going to have to see how he fits into Josh Heupel's scheme. But I would imagine it's going to go on for most of fall camp before maybe a week before the opener they decide maybe who's going to be the signal caller for Tennessee.
Whoever it is, be prepared because they're going to throw the ball. The offensive numbers should be good for Tennessee's. The defensive numbers that could have everybody wondering what's going on there.
38-35. I mean, stuff kind of like that.
You think 38-35?
You know.
Vols will probably score maybe 35 points a game, but give up 38 points, 39 points a game, just because the
Ole
defensive
Miss
numbers. They could be Ole Miss from last year. They could very well be Ole Miss from last year. That defense could be probably near the bottom of the SEC. I would say that's a very good comparison.
Well, they just don't have a lot of
depth.
talent and depth there. They lost too much, and so we'll see what happens there. But certainly, that's what I'm going to be interested to see. Javonte Payton, the transfer from Mississippi State. We saw Velas Jones, formerly of Saraland. He was at SEC Media Days. I think he's got a chance to have a good year, and he's a really good kid, by the way, too. And Alontae Taylor, our good friend Ken Keller, who has been with him since he was a baseball player, really before he became a football prospect. He's going to be a big part of their secondary. Tim Banks came on yesterday and spoke to the media and said they're going to be very multiple. They're going to have to be because they don't have a lot of depth in some spots. So the key is going to be try to be disruptive, get some pressure either through blitzing or through their front. And then, when you got a chance to force some turnovers, force them. Because they're going to have to get the football because I think it's going to be a lot of cases where their offense is going to go fast and maybe kind of leave the defense out to dry a little bit because you're going to be out on the field more, which means you need depth that you just don't have. So again, it may be similarly like Ole Miss. We'll see though if Josh Heupel can do with their QB room what Lane Kiffin did with Matt Corral last year.
All right. On Twitter, I don't know if you're going to read too much into this.
Here we go.
But the Jordy Culotta show, which we got to see.
Jordy Culotta.
Yep. Did do an at the J-Boy show, which is our other good colleague, Jake Crane, and says, and quote, Texas and Oklahoma will be playing in the SEC next year.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with either one of them.
Yeah, he told Jake Crane that.
Yeah.
Jordy Culotta just told Jake Crane that Texas and Oklahoma will be playing in the SEC next year. Smoke, we don't know. We thought this whole thing was crazy when we first saw it at SEC Media Days. So we'll see. All right, coming up in hour number 2, Harold Wells is going to join the show. We're going to talk Mae Jemison football for a few minutes. And then we're going to talk a little.
Son to father. What about that transition?
Too bad they're not playing each other on the field. But it reminds me, though, Nicholas Wells, he says he's got 15 guys. It reminds me of the old movie with Scott Bakula in it.
Necessary Roughness.
Necessary Roughness, where they play Iron Man football. I believe they had about 15 guys as well, and they beat the number 1 team in the country. Necessary Roughness.
Yeah, they knocked the best player's face mask off.
Yeah, was it Texas State? I think it was. I believe that's who it was. All right, hour 1's in the books. Hour 2, Harold
Sinbad,
Wells.
Man, you and I are gonna party.
Good stuff. All right, hour 1's in the books. Hour 2's up next.
With an impressive roster of explosive young superstars and the reigning MVP, the Atlanta Braves are showing the East what they're made of.
1-1 on the way. He connects it. It's a high fly ball to deep right field. Way back towards the seats. And this ball is gone.
Your new home of the Atlanta Braves.
Hit high in the air to deep right center field. We are tied!
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
In 2 years, you can have a career that makes sense for you. Skill up and earn a living working with your hands, or work on the front line of computer information systems and cybersecurity. Get a degree that lets your healing heart take care of people. Help design and manufacture the most advanced cars, machinery, or even aerospace components. In just 2 years, great careers are within your reach at Drake State Community and Technical College. Visit drakestate.edu to apply.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
And a wreck reported 431 in Taylor Lane. That one came in as a single vehicle, no injury. And we had one at Meridian and Winchester that should be just about ready to clear, maybe out of the way already. Watch those school zones and keep an eye out for those buses out on the routes. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with the 2030 Fast Track program, just in time for the beach. 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the WZDX Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. An isolated shower is going to be possible, but the best chance for that is going to be across northeast Alabama. At the end of the day, many of us probably going to stay dry. Temperatures dropping into the low and mid 60s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny skies for your Thursday. Again, an isolated shower is going to be possible, with most of us staying dry. Temperatures remain a bit below average. Highs again hanging out in the mid and upper 80s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Simple Green is perfect for making your auto, RV, cycling, boating, and other sporting equipment look like new. Visit them at simplegreen.com.
Braves and Cardinals tonight. Atlanta slight favorites on the road, -115 on the money line. St. Louis at -105. The over-under 9. Drew Smiley getting the start for Atlanta against J.A. Happ for the Cardinals. The UFC heavyweight title on the line Saturday in Houston at UFC 265. Derek Lewis in his hometown will look to upset Cyril Gahn, carrying a perfect 9-0 record into the bout. Gahn the -350 favorite, Lewis +265. Our first glimpse of the 2021 NFL season is tomorrow night with the return of the annual Hall of Fame game. The Dallas Cowboys will face the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh a 1.5-point favorite. The over-under 33.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is indeed hour number 2 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. And we continue our high school football talk because we're kind of getting everybody ready for the season. It is going to be here before you even know it. We're counting down the days. I think we're like 13 or 14 days away, maybe even less than that, to the start of the high school football season. We talked to Lee. We've already profiled Lee High School. We just did Columbia High School in hour number 1 with Harold Wells. Well, with Nicholas Wells. I'm getting him confused because we've gone from son to father. Yeah, we're working our way there. Yeah. And that is long time. He was the long-time head coach of the Johnson Jaguars, and now he's back to roaming the sidelines yet again in the familiar spot.
Yeah, he took the head coaching job at May Jemison last year, came out of retirement after helping his son Nicholas Wells get started at Columbia. And of course, he as we said, 23 years at Johnson, some of the best talent we've ever seen in the city's history. When you talk about Rashad Moore going on to the NFL, Ed Butler playing at Tennessee, you talk about Wayne Madkin, Mississippi State, multi-year starting quarterback, won a lot of football games in the Southeastern Conference. My personal favorite, Kenyon Hambrick, who went on to play at Alabama A&M and play in the NFL. there were so many great players under this next guy, and he's won now over 130-plus games in his storied career. His second year at the helm of the Mae Jemison Jaguars, and hit this coaching tree growing. Irving McGuire, one of his former players in the early 2000s at Johnson, now at Lee, and as we said, Nicholas Wells, and that means Harold Wells is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, good morning. You're with Scott and Drew. Thank you for taking some time. How are you?
Morning, Coach.
Good morning. Doing great. Doing great. Glad to be here this morning.
Mm-hmm. Are you glad that another season is upon you?
I'm glad that we have almost another 2 weeks to prepare. I'm glad of that, but I know the season is drawing to coming to in a rush at this time.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is, Coach. We were talking to your son, Nicholas Wells, about that in the first hour. He's getting his kids ready to compete in 6A Region 8. But for our listeners, I mean, you coached a long time. You've helped develop a lot of young men, even before being the head coach at Johnson for so many years, for 23 years. What motivated you to want to come back and help young people and coach at Mae Jemison High School, your old stomping grounds?
Well, really and truly, I guess in coaching, I don't think you ever get tired of working with the young people. But one of the main issues was that the principal at Mae Jemison, I worked with her in her early years at Johnson, and we had a great relationship. Even she worked in football during that period. So when she called, I just felt obligated not only to the young men, but to help her in any area that she needed me in.
Had to dust off the old playbook, though, a little bit, huh?
I tell you, I did, but I'm really stealing a whole lot of stuff from these young guys like Irvin and Nick. So really, it's not hard because, they got young minds. They're innovative. They're looking at this and that, and I'm just got my cheat sheet in my back pocket and taking notes.
Well, does that a reflection, though, of how much the game has changed? I mean, you started at Johnson in '92. You're coaching still. I mean, the game has progressed a ton over time.
Yes, and you better keep up or you'll get lost in the shuffle. And that's why I talk to Nick quite often. Irv and I talk on the phone from time to time. And then I talk to other people just to stay abreast of what's going on in the game. Because if you don't, I tell you what, they can do some things now, scheme-wise, that if you don't keep up, you'll be lost.
Well, and in your days at Johnson, you threw the ball around more than most and had a lot of success. Now that's become common. You see the 7-on-7s and a lot of the OTA type stuff. Nick was just talking about that. But you see, so we have seen the game changes. The throwing of the football is now not unusual. But it's interesting to see some of the influences that you've had, because you've got to be proud, Coach. I mean, to have Irving play for you, then become now the head coach at Lee. We're very excited about what he's going to do for the Generals, and then to see your son follow in your footsteps as well.
Well, I tell you what, when I came here, I was pass happy, but I've learned over the years that balance is the best option. And so I would love to be anywhere 55-45 run pass now, where when I came in, I was 65-35 throwing the football. So, you just have to adjust to the talent of the school that you're at. And Mae Jemison is talented, but it's not Johnson. And so that's how I have to treat it.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
Well, let's talk about the talent this year for you. What is returning at Mae Jemison?
Well, we're strong offensively. We got about 7 starters returning. We just got to all get on the same page. And I believe once we do that, we're going to be pretty good. Now, we're going to be relatively young on the defensive side, but at the same time, I think our up front people will give us time to grow up, because we've got 3 starters in the defensive line returning for this football season.
Yeah, and that's got to be exciting. And Coach, what did you learn back last year? I mean, you kind of you were able to you got some wins in the first year back. You're trying to put your stamp back on Mae Jemison football. Talk about going. A lot of times they say the most improvements from year 1 to year 2. What areas are you thinking are going to be the most improved for this football team? You're at least hopeful for as fall camp is getting underway.
Well, I hope that the quarterback position will continue to develop. It brought us through the latter part of last year. We got that young man back in the fold this year. I hope our offensive line, who we have about 3 or 4 starters back in the offensive line. So we really feel good about those kids. And then on the defensive side, we're going to be fast and game tackling the ball. So if that comes through, then I'm excited about both sides of the ball going in. We just got to improve in the specialty area.
Well, Coach, look at your schedule. You get a Hazel Green, Hartselle, Russellville, East Limestone, Lee, Buckhorn, Brewer, Lawrence County, Ardmore, and Pell City. A challenging, daunting, but yet a formidable schedule.
Very much so. And as I look at this thing, we're top heavy. I mean, we open up with some pretty tough games the first 4 weeks, and then if we're fortunate enough to make the playoffs, then we're going to end up with a tough team in Pell City. So the schedule will make you tough, it'll break you. So hopefully, if we can weather the storm of those first 4 weeks, I think we got a chance.
And Coach, I know you want to make the playoffs yet again. You were able to reach the postseason a season ago. But I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, being around and experiencing so much as a head coach, how was it getting through the COVID situation last year, and how are you approaching it this season?
Well, we're going to approach it the same way we did last year. We're taking every precaution, doing all the cleaning and the things that are necessary, the mask and the distance as much as possible in football. But I tell you, the staff that we had last year did an outstanding job in taking care of the particulars when it came down to COVID. We didn't have to shut down not one time last year. We didn't have a kid that missed out any game because of that. So hopefully if God is with us again this year, we'll have the same results and we'll play some pretty good football throughout the season.
Was that the hardest season you had to go through as a head coach?
Yeah, because it kept you on your toes. You're constantly worried about the kids already, but when you add COVID into the mix, you're really concerned about their health and doing whatever the CDC says that Huntsville City schools require to keep those kids safe. And so we spent a lot of time at the school cleaning. We spent a lot of sleepless nights making sure that everybody who wasn't at practice, COVID wasn't the reason. So they did an outstanding job. I have my hats off to my assistant coaches for the way they handled that last year.
And, Coach, that's a great segue. Talk about that staff you've got. You can't do it without assistant coaches. You talked about some of the young guys that you've been around. You've been, as you said, stealing some ideas. You're very proud of Irving being a head coach now and your son. But talk about some of the staff you've got with you at May Jemison.
Well, listen, I really wanted to hire both of them, Irv and Nick, to be honest with you. But, I know that they were waiting for their opportunity to step into head coaching roles. I believe they were ready. I know they're ready now. So, but the staff that we have assembled this year, I think, is the cream of the crop. We've got Frankie Smith, a long-time college coach with us, handling the offensive line. Lance Kelly, our defensive coordinator, a veteran at this thing. And so we've added a few young guys. Tyron Childer was one of my former quarterbacks some years back. Mm-hmm. We got him on the staff. And then we've just added pieces to the puzzle like Troy Wagner, who's been around us for years, and he's very valuable in maintaining the community aspect, parent relationships that our kids keep flowing into the program year in and year out. So we've got some key guys on this staff, and I'm very proud that they're on my staff.
Mm-hmm. And, Coach, talk about last few minutes with Harold Wells, the legendary former head coach of the Johnson Jags, now back with the May Jemison Jaguars. You talked a little bit about your quarterback and your offense and wanting to be balanced. Talk about some of the kids you're counting on that side of the ball.
Well, to start off, we got Kel Wood, our quarterback, who came on the last 6 games of last year, and I tell you, he took our team from 1-4 to a playoff contender. And so we hope that is a trend for him going into this year, that he's making the proper preparations to be a leader. He did an outstanding job last year. Hopefully this year will be even better. We got Jonathan Jones at wide out, a speed guy who can go get that ball. So we're still in the passing business, even though we do a whole lot of running the ball. Our play-action passing game should be outstanding this year. We've got Jeremiah Smith. We got Jeremiah Anderson. We got Kamani Jones back in the offensive line, veteran offensive lineman. So we just feel like they ought to have a great impact on us moving the ball, controlling the ball, and putting the ball in the end zone.
No doubt. Go ahead.
And Cameron Montgomery, if he's not one of the top backs coming into the city this year, I don't know who he is. He is an outstanding football player, but most of all, he's a tough football player. Like he has a mindset of those old Johnson kids, and so I'm glad that he's in the backfield along with Kale Woods.
Yeah, and I know you have high expectations defensively. Give us a little bit of a look on that side of the ball of who you're counting on.
Well, see, our game plan is to rally to the ball. We've got Ashton Miller, the nose guard, who had an outstanding spring. Kavion Welch, our defensive tackle. And then with him, we got Jeremiah Smith also at defensive tackle. He'll go both ways for us. But I tell you, we are really happy with what they did in the spring and how they worked in the off season. So we just expect to be able to stop the run game, if nothing else, this year. And then we got some speedy linebackers, young linebackers, that hopefully I don't have to call their names until they prove themselves. But we just look forward to them rallying to that ball and letting us play more offense than we do defense.
Well, it's going to be August 20th at Hazel Green, year 2 at Mae Jemison for Harold Wells. And Coach, we were trying to get your schedule set up for the future. We were asking Nick about you guys having the Wells Bowl and if that was going to happen in the regular season in the near future.
Well, listen, I don't look forward to that.
Yeah, that would be very difficult, I'm sure. Yeah.
I don't. Well, I tell you what, I don't even look forward to playing Irving,
right?
Because those are my kids. But we're in the same area. But I wish them well until that night. And I know they're going to do an outstanding job, and I'm praying for them each and every night that whatever they're doing, they'll give God the glory.
Well, it'll be September 17th. That'll be Irving McGuire and Lee taking on the Mae Jemison Jaguars. But, Coach, we look forward to the season. Thank you for taking some time to join us for a few minutes. It was a great conversation, and good luck to the Mae Jemison Jaguars this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it for supporting the program and putting these young men out there into the public.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
All right, head coach Harold Wells, Mae Jemison Jaguars, joining the program. His Jaguars will open the season the 20th of August. In just 16 days, they will take on Hazel Green, a road trip. He mentioned if they can get through the first 4 weeks, they would be okay. Their first 4 weeks are at Hazel Green, home against Hartselle, at Russellville, and then home against East Limestone.
Some tough teams.
That's the first 4 weeks. Yep. And then it goes Lee of Huntsville, Buckhorn. Then they get their off date. They'll be at Brewer, home against Lawrence County, at Ardmore, and then Pell City. So some winnable games in the middle. As Coach Wells mentions, he has to get through the first 4 weeks to see if they have a playoff hope. And Drew, he's been coaching for a long time. Going back to the 1970s, J.O. Johnson only had 5 head coaches. Harold Wells was the head coach starting in 1992 until he stepped away from the game. Mae Jemison has only had 2 head football coaches. Harold Wells is one of those 2 head coaches.
This will be his 25th year.
I mean, he has been around this city and been around football forever. And like he says, you have to kind of evolve. You have to kind of change the game a little bit, so to speak. But that is some good high school football talk right there. College football talk. Oh, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday, and of course, Lane Kiffin has to talk Nick Saban and Alabama because he's coaching Ole Miss. It makes perfect sense. But he was asked about how much Nick Saban is actually worth. He also talked about name, image, and likeness with Bryce Young. But
way more than what he makes. And I understand, faculty, and when people say, okay, how does a guy like that make that much money when he just coaches football? But, the money he brings into the program and the university, people don't when a football program's rolling, the university changed. Student applications change, so tuition goes up, everything changes. So as crazy as it is, kids around the country watch a football program doing well and they say, I want to go there, even though they don't play football.
I think Lane Kiffin advocating
there's
for
no
Nick's
question about it. When you look at the enrollment and how it's exploded at Alabama, Nick Saban had a ton to do with that.
Right.
I mean, we're not disrespecting education. You have to get an education. It's so important. That is the vehicle to have a better life. But it's what Coach Bryant said years ago when you talk about a football program and how important it is to a university. His quote was, "It's kind of hard to rally around a math class."
Kiffin also talks about being hopeless with Alabama in the West.
A little bit, at times in recruiting, especially when he, announces that his backup quarterback from last year is getting $1 million. That's going to be a little hard to recruit against. I mean, he just accidentally threw that out there, He didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, accidentally threw that out there while in the state of Texas
Lane
talking
Kiffin
to high
has
school
ADD
coaches.
kind of anyway, and so that was one of the storylines of SEC Media Days when someone told him at the podium when he was up there speaking in the main room that Bryce Young was making nearly $1 million. It basically just ruined his train of thought. He couldn't focus on anything else.
Well, yeah, I was surprised by that. I was at the SC Media Days, and that was thrown out there, and I just didn't think that it would get to that level, especially this fast of players that hadn't started or really played very much. But I guess after looking at it more and, talking to people more, that there's more into investing into the younger player that's going to play a few years versus the guy who's going into his last year of eligibility that, if you sign him, you only got him for 1 year, to make money off of them. So it's just a new world that we're dealing with, more like it would be in professional sports, which we really are professional sports now. I mean, players get paid, and we have free agency, except our free agency is almost year-round. So, it really has changed a lot.
Lane Kiffin, there right on cue, talking about Bryce Young and being told at SEC Media Days about Bryce Young getting $1 million. So there you have it. Like I said, Dan Patrick Show, Lane Kiffin. Of course, he had to talk Alabama. I'm sure he threw a bunch of Ole Miss in there as well, but it's always Alabama when you're talking with Lane Kiffin. All right, we need to talk LSU, Billy Embody. We need to find out about this quarterback situation going on in Baton Rouge. Where do they turn to now that they do not have Miles Brennan?
Well, I want him to walk us through what they're hearing, what happened, with this situation, and it's just so unfortunate. But what was their buzz the same we heard from Jordy Collada? Were they hearing Max Johnson had an edge? Because we've heard Coach O say that the football team knows who the starter is, and where do they turn, and what are some of the other questions heading into fall camp? Billy Embody, as good as there is when it comes to talking LSU.
All right, let's get that break in. Billy Embody will join the program when we return.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a wreck at Washington and Meridian. That one's coming in as a no injury. And we got a medical call southbound on Governors at Montesano Boulevard. Got Himsey on the way for that one. That's going to cause a problem for traffic for the next few minutes. Snelling needs an admin assistant. Northeast Huntsville location needs strong general accounting skills. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
With an impressive roster of explosive young superstars and the reigning MVP, the Atlanta Braves are showing the East what they're made of.
Swung on and struck out towards deep right field, rising through the sky, back to the wall, bombs away.
Tonight, don't miss a minute of Atlanta Braves baseball from St. Louis as the Braves take on Nolan Arenado and the St. Louis Cardinals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
We love our pets, and when we need boarding or vet services, we want the best. That's why we chose Paradise Pet Resort and Spa. Everything our pets needed, all in one place. Boarding for both dogs and cats. Doggy daycare, grooming and spa services, web cameras, and top-notch vet care, too. It's a true Paradise Pet Resort for your furry friends, serving all of North Alabama. Find out everything you need to know and book services online at ParadisePetResortAndSpa.com. Located in Madison, just off 565 at Wall Triana, behind Cracker Barrel.
Never mind fall and football being in the air. We want to taste it.
And never mind not being able to tailgate at the game. Let's create the ultimate barbecue experience in your own backyard.
You said it, Foster Brooks, and that's where Brooks & Collier comes in. Big selection of outdoor furniture.
And a big selection of grills and smokers like Traeger, Big Green Egg, Blaze, even DCS, and more.
This is the good stuff.
And Paul, we definitely got the accessories. And remember, we deliver. Visit us at 813 Meridian Street and shop online at brooksandcollier.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. People like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel and Twitch. Just search 97.7 ESPN. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, 8:28. Garth Brooks taking us down to Baton Rouge. Garth Brooks was supposed to entertain the crowd this weekend in Nashville, but they had stormy weather, so the Garth Brooks concert there in Titan Stadium did not go off. It did not go off. You're right. The thunder did roll through the Music City, and Garth Brooks was silenced.
Yeah, he was.
A lot of people packed Nissan Stadium to see Garth Brooks. Did not get to see him on Saturday. A lot of people wanted to see Miles Brennan play quarterback for the LSU Tigers. Not going to get to see him.
Battle.
Yeah,
we're not. And our next guest is with us from Go 24/7, part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Great guy I connected with several years ago. He does a great job covering LSU, also SMU. He's worn a lot of different hats. He's worked for the Washington Redskins. But he's a guy we always enjoy catching up with. And it's been a while. We caught up with him in the spring, but now we're going to talk some LSU with him this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and that's Billy Embody. Billy, welcome back to Huntsville. You were Drew and Scott. How are you, sir?
Doing well, guys. How about you?
We're doing well. For our listeners, we've let it marinate for a couple of days. We've talked about it, but take us through what you guys have heard. What was this about the injury and how this kind of occurred with Miles Brennan?
Yeah, I think it came as a huge shock. You know, you're a few days away from fall camp, and finally getting into that quarterback battle that started out in the spring and ended with Max Johnson and Miles Brennan being the two left. But from what I've heard, I mean, it was a non-football injury. I think it was one of those things where they were in the last little bit of break that the players get. I mean, honestly, I don't know if we'll ever hear like what exactly happened, but from what I understand is he tripped, fell, and just broke his arm. I mean, just a really unfortunate accident. We've seen on Twitter. I mean, and insiders on message boards and people who are in the know in the program have said everything from tripped and fell on a dock or tripped and fell down the stairs. I mean, but we're not going to know. So, I mean, until Miles addresses it and at some point in his career, it just kind of clears it up what exactly happened. But, it was just unfortunate. And it's an injury where, from what I've heard, it's humorous and you've got to have a lot of force to break it. It's usually an injury that's suffered in car accidents. And so for him to break this, it just it was really must have been a freak type of accident. So that was kind of what we have heard through the grapevine, nothing official. It was just a non-football accident, and honestly probably puts him out the entire season, maybe a chance to return late if play if honestly things aren't going well with Max Johnson.
Yeah, so is that where LSU turns to? It was going to be a quarterback battle, we assumed. Is it Max Johnson's show now to take on the road?
Yeah, it is Max Johnson's show, and quite honestly, from what we had heard over the summer, he was the odds-on favorite to win the job anyway. He had a really good spring, which built off of his strong finish to the 2020 season where he led that upset on the road in Florida, and then went back and forth in a wild one with Ole Miss and got them the win. So, building off of that, he had a really nice spring, had a really strong summer, and from what all we had heard, it was honestly going to be Max Johnson most likely. When you talk to everyone who was placing their early fall camp bets on who it would be, we just got the answer, honestly, a lot quicker than any of us probably expected going into fall camp.
And now the backup has no experience. It looks like it's going to be Garrett Nussmeier, the son of Doug Nussmeier. Would that be accurate, or is that still going to be a competition?
Yeah, it's going to be Garrett Nussmeier. He enrolled early in the spring and got to campus and actually put together a nice spring. Drew a lot of positive praise from the coaching staff, from teammates. He's a competitive kid, coach's son, another football family tie, similar to Max Johnson, who his dad is Brad Johnson, who won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But Garrett is really competitive. I think he needs to put his body together in the college weight room. He's considered undersized, but he will be the backup, in my opinion. Played well enough in the spring game to honestly have people questioning whether or not it would be him or TJ Finley that got in the game first, if it ever came to that this fall. He's a talented kid, a really, really prolific passer as a senior in Texas high school football. So, yeah, it looks like Garrett Nussmeier is going to be that backup. They've got 2 walk-ons in Matt O'Dowd and Travion Falk, who's I believe the nephew of running backs coach Kevin Falk. So those are that's the quarterback crew they've got now.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got quarterbacks, but who's going to run the ball? Is someone going to establish themselves as a running back? And we're kind of keeping an eye on freshman Armani Goodwin.
Yeah, from Hewitt Trussell.
From Hewitt Trussell,
yes.
Yep. Where does he stand? Does he stand a shot at seeing the field this year? And is someone going to establish themselves as a running back?
Yeah, they're looking for Ty Davis-Price and John Emery to get back to their early form. But Armani Goodwin has put together a strong summer. He's got the athleticism. He's got the production. All signs kind of point to him being someone that's going to be a successful college running back. They also signed Corey Kiner out of Ohio. He was Mr. Ohio in football this past year. But, I mean, between Armani Goodwin's record-setting 60-meter time in the state of Alabama, almost 10 yards a carry as a senior, he's just got that explosiveness. If he can pick up the pass protections and do all those things, the mental side of it, I think he's going to factor in right away. I think he could be the second leading ball carrier when it's all said and done.
Yeah, that would be big. And, I mean, he certainly was very productive and bounced back, have a strong senior season after missing a majority of his junior year with a knee injury. So we look forward to seeing him in the purple and gold. And if in your mind, Billy, we know now the quarterback position has been decided, unfortunately, before the competition could really amp up in the fall. But as you said, Max Johnson had the edge, played really well down the stretch last year. I've got to believe they've got to be super excited about Keyshawn Butte and how he finished last year.
Yeah, I mean, set the SEC single-game receiving record against Ole Miss, who's freshman All-American, a 5-star prospect. He just looks like he's going to be the next line of LSU receivers to go really high in the NFL draft. Expectations are through the roof for him, honestly. And a lot of that, too, is based on the rapport that he and Max Johnson had. They really connected well once Max got in there and took over as a starter. So, Keyshawn Butte, they're really expecting a lot from him this year, especially in a receiving core that has very few proven guys outside of Keyshawn Butte.
And for you, for the listeners, I know you guys with Shay and of course Sonny do a great job of covering fall camp. What are some of the other storylines to follow with this LSU team? Obviously, defensively, there's been a lot of changes on the staff. And I know they want to get back to playing defense at a championship level, but what's some of the major storylines to follow?
The first one for me is left tackle, because Ed Ogeron's kind of had some opportunities to shut down that, Cam Wilder's going to step in and play for Dare Rosenthal, who transferred out and went to Kentucky. But he's really left it open. They've got Anthony Bradford, a younger lineman, who's played some right guard, some right tackle. So far in his career, he's probably needs to trim down a little bit still, which he can do in camp. Garrett Dellinger, though, is a true freshman that has made some noise based on talking to some players, and Ed Ogeron has also talked him up. So that battle looks like it's going to be a legit one. And then the other safety spot, can Major Burns, Georgia transfer, take over that spot and hold off somebody like Todd Harris, who's been around a while? They've got Sage Ryan, a former 5-star, true freshman in now. Who shakes out at linebacker? They've got a few options, and Micah Baskerville, Damone Clark, Clemson transfer Mike Jones Jr., and Bud Strong, the #1 junior college linebacker. Those are the positions we're really watching. The defensive line will also be intriguing, but honestly, at least on paper, whoever comes out of the wash in that battle is probably going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there depth along the offensive line?
Quite honestly, I would say no. They really haven't gotten a lot of development from some of their younger offensive linemen. So if anyone else goes down, it's a concern, at least in terms of guys who are unproven or probably, they hold a lot of confidence in stepping in. That's something that is on Ed Ogeron's list of things that they've really got to accomplish in fall camp, is developing depth, because some of these offensive linemen Anthony Bradford, Cardinal Thomas, Thomas Perry, Charles Turner, they just haven't developed. And they're entering their third season, on campus. So they've got to step up, at least provide some depth. They have some 2020 guys that they signed that they're really high on. Marlon Martinez, Marcus Dumerville, guys like that. But overall, no, the depth there isn't great right now.
And I think that's what piggybacks off of why we saw James Craig leave. One of the reasons he left the program, and they brought in Brad Davis.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
I know there. Yeah. Well, there was a recruiting irregularity. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but it probably would have spelled the end for him eventually. He had some issues with evals and certainly landing top flight prospects. That was the complaint. Yes.
No question. Yeah, that goes into the development issue. And Coach, I will say this for Coach O. He's not afraid to pull the trigger if he doesn't think something's working, and he's done that. What are the early returns after the spring on Durante Jones?
That's one where a lot of confidence. I know there was some positivity around Bo Pelini too, but this really feels a little different. From players to other coaches, he's just gotten rave reviews. I would say even over Jake Peets, who's under Joe Brady. He's really sharp. He even connects well in recruiting. I know he spent a little bit of time in the college ranks, but that was something I had questions about. He's done really well there. I think the early returns are strong. Obviously, he's got to prove it, but it's been even better than I thought it would be.
That's strong. This is Billy Embody, Go 24/7, covering the LSU Tigers. Also covers SMU. But right now, I did pick LSU second in the West in the preseason. I still think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to, be much better defensively. They've always had the talent and the athletes. Just need some cohesion and get guys on the same page. I know you had a chance to get some reaction from Coach O about the quarterback situation. What is the feel around the program going into this year? Because I thought it was really big and for them to win the last two games and get to 500 and get some of the sour taste out of their mouths for how that season went last year.
You're exactly right. And I think you would have wanted them to have the bowl practices. They obviously didn't do that for, again, kind of the NCAA reasons, but they were able to rip the Band-Aid off pretty quick on everything that went wrong in 2020 because of that. And I think it's a different feel just from a culture perspective. That 2020 season, everything just seemed to go wrong. They could not get out of their own way. Obviously a historically bad defense, but it seems like they have turned the page and really focused on becoming closer as a team, getting back to being on the same page. And it's funny you mentioned that. Jay Dixon and I were talking about that, and I thought it was one of the things that has stuck with me about Ed Ogeron's tenure is outside of last year and rare moments in here and there, they really have been a team that's been on the same page about what they need to do to win. When they need to simplify things, they do it, and they bounce back. And until they show me differently, I feel like that's what's going to happen this year. And I am not a homer by any means. So for me to say that, I think, is a little different. Because, I'm more often than not a show-me guy, but right now, Ed Ogeron has shown that he can push the right buttons to fix things when they go wrong, and I think they're going to be able to do that in 2021.
And they'll have to fix it right away because you got two teams that are playing, Oregon or UCLA and LSU, that had a lot of questions this offseason that needed to be answered, and we'll find out how they answer them right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And a road trip out to the Rose Bowl, as of now, I don't think it's going to get changed. But they have to make that long road trip with a lot of new coaches, and that was one thing that we kind of talked about a little bit yesterday with Shay and I on our podcast, was just how it's one of those opportunities where everyone's going to be saying, all right, new coordinators, not a new quarterback, but still a relatively unproven quarterback. A lot of questions offensively, new defensive staff. How can you turn the page and be on the same page quickly enough against one of the better offensive minds in college football in Chip Kelly, and get a win right away, because LSU's been really good in season openers under Ed Orgeron. They beat the tar out of a BYU team that had high expectations early on. They killed Miami and Dallas a few years ago. They've just done a really good job handling these big games under Ed Orgeron. They've risen to the occasion, and I think if everybody is on the same page, and that's going to be a big emphasis as they do their scrimmages, working on substitutions, calling plays, all of that, it should bode well, I think, for LSU to come out of that game against UCLA with a win.
Well, and my final question for you as we wrap it up, Billy, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about SMU. You cover them extensively. Sonny Dykes reeling in some 5-star talent. Their program continues to rise. Now we see this changing landscape with these conference expansions in college football. It's got to be a really exciting time right now to follow SMU and where he's taken that program.
It's pretty wild. I mean, just when you think they can't outdo themselves, they do. I mean, the recruiting is at another level right now that we haven't really followed, as the media since, the 80s, quite frankly. They are doing a great job, and it's just, keeping it simple. They want guys to stay home in Dallas. They have a coaching staff that, honestly, I would say has very little ego. They just want these guys to come to Dallas, come to SMU and just, build this thing up and, be a part of the resurgence of the program. And that's what they're getting at so far. If they get the quarterback play that they're expecting this year, this needs to be the year that they turn the corner and at least make an AAC championship game appearance. They ran out of gas against Cincinnati last year. They got the Memphis monkey off the back and beat them. The one thing that has plagued the program here and there, and it's been a lot with depth, as they built it back up, is just finishing in November. So if they can do that this year, look out. It's a team that can beat TCU, has beaten TCU. Honestly, felt like TCU dodged them last year during COVID. This is a team that is starting to get a lot of confidence, and it starts at the top of Sonny Dykes.
It certainly does. And I mean, they're so good. They're getting to the point where Arch Manning visits, so they are attracting top-level guys. Well, Billy, we always appreciate it. Great conversation, great knowledge and insight. Let everybody know how to follow your work with Go 24/7 and, of course, covering the Mustangs.
Yeah, you can check us out at Go247, GEAUX247.com. Fall camp first practice starts Friday for LSU, and same for SMU on PonyStampede.com. You can check it all out. We'll have you guys covered as fall camp gets underway and recruiting heats back up here with the season starting.
All right, Billy, thanks for the call.
Appreciate it, Billy.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good stuff there on LSU. Good stuff on LSU. When we come back here, tomorrow's headlines today, we're going to wrap up this 2-hour extravaganza.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
I struggled with symptoms like frequent gas and stomach pain for years.
I was bloated all the time with daily diarrhea.
At first, I thought it was what I was eating.
I kept thinking it was stomach issues.
So I did my research and talked to my doctor, and we finally uncovered the truth.
It was actually EPI. Exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition where your pancreas is unable to help break down your food.
It can lead to symptoms like diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools.
And EPI symptoms can be confused with those of other common digestive conditions, like irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's, and celiac disease.
So getting to the right diagnosis meant being more open with my doctor about the severity of my symptoms and how often they were happening.
But there's good news. EPI is manageable, so don't wait any longer. Use the symptom checker at identifyepi.com and schedule a visit or call with your doctor to ask, could I have EPI?
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub South. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Angie's List is now Angie. Summer is the perfect time to book your next home project. From lawn care to a new patio, Angie makes it simple to connect with pros who can get the job done right. See reviews, upfront pricing, and instantly book hundreds of projects. Plus, when you book and pay through Angie, we'll cover your project up to the full purchase price, plus limited damage protection with our Happiness Guarantee. Check out Angie.com, and for more on the Happiness Guarantee, go to Angie.com/happiness-guarantee.htm.
We are wrapping things up this morning with a wreck at Washington and Meridian. It's a no injury. And a report of a traffic signal problem, 72 and Slaughter. The report says that one's short cycling. HPD's taking a look at it. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It is time for your tomorrow's headlines today. The AAC, American Athletic Conference. A lot has been talked about this conference because it's home to Cincinnati and Gus Malzahn and UCF. Will they join the big group of five, Power Five? Will they move into different realms? Well, they're having their media day today, so I'm sure they're going to get pounded by questions about college football expansion. But just a little bit ago, they did release their media poll. Cincinnati picked to win the AAC, 22 first-place votes, followed by Gus Malzahn and UCF with 2 first-place votes. SMU, which we just got done talking about with Billy Embody, picked to finish third.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I know I saw a YouTube clip yesterday. Big Cat Bryant talking in his UCF garb. He is transferred to play for Gus Malzahn yet again, and they asked him about how good they could be this year, and he said they could definitely beat some SEC teams like Auburn.
Woo!
Interesting that he threw a salvo at his former school already, where he made limited plays. Let's just say, and to be nicknamed Big Cat and wear the number 1, I didn't think the production met the hype really with him in an Auburn uniform. We'll see if he can do something at UCF. As we know, he almost went to Tennessee, but when they had the coaching change there, and Shelton Felton, his former high school coach, who is, I believe, now replaced Rush Probst at Valdosta, was dismissed from that staff. Big Cat went back into the portal and ended up in Orlando.
Wow. All right, so those are some interesting words there from Big Cat Bryant. Speaking of interesting words, we talked about Phillip Rivers at the top of the show, telling the LA Times that he hasn't quite ruled out returning to the NFL. The right team, the right place, you never know, he says, but he hasn't ruled out coming back this year for football. Steve Harvey helping us a little bit.
When it comes to quarterbacks, I wanted to congratulate Phillip Rivers on his retirement from the NFL. Now that I've congratulated Phillip for his retirement, I want to welcome him right back to the NFL. Why, Steve? Because Phillip got 9 kids. 9. You're not retiring from nothing, homie. I got 7 kids. I'm 64 and still working. Your ass will be back next season. See you next year, homie.
Oh, boy. A starting 9 for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, in case you missed it at the top of the hour, Phillip Rivers did tell the LA Times that he hasn't ruled out returning to the NFL. He's just going to stay ready. He wants to make sure he's very clear. He's not predicting he'll play in December or January. He says, but you've got to have somebody who wants you, and 2, it's got to be right, but I have not completely ruled that out. That was Phillip Rivers telling the LA Times that he's not completely ruled out returning back to the NFL. Somebody's got to want him in order for him to return.
Well, I mean, I think he could have gone back to Indy. I think Frank Reich would have had him back, and we might not have seen the Carson Wentz deal. But I think Phillip decided to step away instead of I think he played on a 1-year, $25 million contract last year. So, I mean, again, if there is a rash of injuries, he kept himself in playing shape. I mean, I think he could get ready quickly. It would be unusual. But again, I think that would have to be what it would take for Phillip to pull a Brett Favre.
All right, NBA breaking news right now. John Collins has agreed to a 5-year, $125 million deal to stay with the Atlanta Hawks. That according to...
And they've already signed Trae Young to a $200 million extension. So that's 2 of the cornerstones right there for the Hawks.
So there you go. The Atlanta Braves get a
Can
win
they
yesterday.
Get to 500? They're going to try again. And by the way, I had not kept up. I didn't realize your boy John Lester had just arrived with the Cardinals. I'd lost track of him where he was. But
he was with, I forget where he even started the year, Nationals somewhere. I forget where he started the year.
Yeah.
But he got drilled yesterday with the Cardinals. Oh, well. But there's a lot of talk still about how Judd Hoyer botched the negotiations between Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and Javier Baez, how he was not able to keep either one of the 3 of the core 3 for the Chicago Cubs, how he botched all of that. And Anthony Rizzo kind of saying, well, just kind of read between the lines yesterday in an interview on that one. So anyway, USA Today now running with Phillip Rivers night. Might not be done after all. So the LA Times article generating a little buzz about Phillip Rivers maybe not being done playing NFL football. So there you go.
John Lester wishing the Nats to the St. Louis Cardinals. He got bombed.
That's right.
Let's see if the Braves can get back to 500 tonight. The Czar coming up from 10 to noon along with our good friend Chad Guathney and The Drive tonight.
All right, guys, WZZN, 977ESPN.com. That's the website. Everything, zone deals, videos, stories. Make sure you visit 977ESPN.com. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.